Oceanogod, Wade Blevins, Dawadon, Unole, Jalagigante, Dawadon, Galele, Jagedo, Kohig, Jos, Kosonele, ne Jalagea de Lo Quasti.
Sionagod, I usku Keletauto Jalakika, Kathy Sierra, Yoneka, Galielig Square, Judge, Lukahan Kohig. Sure, Wade.
Sure. So good to have you. And it just did you list on Neho?
It's no doggy stane. Junsti, I need to like unique ta do don na Jino Jindio Danel. So Lena had the Yojalena, no Jadana. Junsti, a le Jun Dodgy. Dodge no het die hest skinne o jelly nuste dat that's got to like ostu one histe the us fluent to like now though ostu to like one histe ut go de o gedule nuste skinne no tal du det hier latla stikke du losest ane do hest skinne dodge no het die hest go hele to like haleskuna o no Adanella o GIS negat halesku doidilka hus no tadana ha sku aneto has tunste andel kwaskes halesku antagiskes used no GWS skina o jeli skino dojane tunste janolk jelekos halesku yani woni.
Oh, neat. So we'll go back and we'll just talk a little bit in English about what we just talked about. And that way people can then what I recommend for you guys as learners is once we've listened to it, this first time, then I recommend that you go back through and listen to what she talks about again and try to pick them out, pick out different words and be like, oh, that's what that is. So tell me, I asked her, I said, does she have, does she work somewhere new, and so she was telling me a little bit about her new endeavor. So let's.
We applied for a grant a couple of years ago for the A&A grant, and one of our I don't want to say partner, but our coworker Melissa Lewis is the one that applied for the grant. And now that we got the grant, we went under AIRC, American Indian Resource Center, that is led by Pam Arn, and she is the one holding our budgets and stuff like that. But anyway, the program is called Cherokee Little Seeds, where we will be, or where we have already selected 5 mothers with 5 babies under the age of 1, and I don't think we might have one that's 8 months old, and those babies we're going to put them in a home environment where we'll just go in every day and talk fluently Cherokee. The person that's going to be talking with me is Phyllis Sixkiller, another fluent speaker. We will be taking care of the babies. Well, not really taking care of them, just mainly talking to them with their mothers. And it's called Little Cherokee Seeds.
Little Cherokee Seed.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so there are 5 in the group, and it's babies and moms, right?
Yes.
And will it cycle like 2 groups a year or 1 group a year? Or
This will be a 2.5-year program with just the babies.
Just these ones.
Just these 5, and we'll concentrate on them. For 2.5 years, the grant will be there, but our coworkers, the ones that do the paperwork and stuff, they're going to be applying for other grants to try to go on with these same 5 till they're about, we want to say, at least 5 years old.
Good.
And we're hoping, one of my coworkers, Phyllis Sixkiller, she worked with babies, and I know back in I think it's been 25 years ago when CDC did have a baby program where she was the teacher, and I remember it well because I was in that part where they were doing programs to learn Cherokee. But anyway, when Phyllis started this, she says that in 3 years old, the babies can understand and speak it just like we can. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
just because that's how we learn, just being home with our parents,
Yeah.
listening, hearing.
And interacting
in the language with all, you know, whatever you do that day, you just tell the babies what you're doing, and
Yep.
and we think that as they hear, and if it is for 5 years, then we'll have fluent speakers.
Yeah, wonderful. I think
Yes.
that's great,
Yes.
and I think that it's so great to see that different Cherokee communities are setting up their own programs and things like
Yes,
that. You know,
yes.
because I think so many times our communities. And I'm just as guilty as everyone else. You know, we feel like, oh well, we have to wait for Cherokee Nation to do it for us. But that's never how our communities were.
Right.
We always went out and did it ourselves.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and put it together.
And what a great opportunity that we
Absolutely.
have, you know. So,
Yeah.
so any way that we're going to try to save our language, you know, if we're saving it, then this is one that we believe in that's going to happen. you know.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's great that you're involving both the mom and the baby.
Right.
You know, so that you know, when the babies go home, they have somebody they can talk to.
Yes,
you know?
because the mother, it's not going to, you know, it's not a classroom setting. The
Right.
mothers will just hear and listen to the language, and it's going to be up to them to carry on what we have taught them
Absolutely.
by hearing.
Yep.
I mean, we can write it all down, and we can, you know, they can study it at home, and they can talk to their babies with it at home. So, you know, it's a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
And just so glad for it.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really happy to hear about this program, and I'm so glad that you're a part of it. And I really think that I think a lot of times, you know, when we talk to babies and we do it, whatever our language is, if you watch how people interact with babies, they're constantly narrating what's going on.
Right.
You know, and we do that with babies, but we never do that with learners that are older.
Right.
You know, because we
Right.
think they don't need it anymore, but they
Right.
do. That's how they
Yes.
learn.
Yes.
You know, and so
Because study says we start hearing in the utero.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we're excited.
Well, good deal. Well, so I want to take advantage of having you here today. Not take advantage of you, but the opportunity that we have. And so we're going to go through and we're going to do a little reading exercise. And I found a really neat little story. I really like it because even I can understand it. So it's very simple to understand. And then we'll talk a little bit about Tojua Siquanid. We're doing an informational article about Tojua Siquanid and you know why we still talk about him even today. You know, even though he's been gone almost 100 years. So come, Idalena, jalagi one. Okay, so let me get my glasses here, and I'll read through. This is a little story that was written. I found it in a Bureau of Indian Affairs report, and I'm sure it was probably printed somewhere else, but that's where I found it. That's where I came across it, and so it's a really common story. I've heard this story many times, so I kind of already knew the story anyway. But the way it's written is to me very simple. I mean, it's not simple in a dumb way, but I mean, it's
A lot of information in a little bitty.
Yeah, and it's good repetition. So anyway, it's you at home. You know, let's read through this together. I'll try to read super slow, and then we'll get to the new part. So this says, U wo du hi un ta ti I not. So the pretty patterned or striped or spotted, or it's got some kind of pattern on it, right? That unajati, snake. Have you heard this story?
No.
So this says kohi chike sage ehe gano hili donhi ni kai go husteno a hyo hi hei osta agisti galujik. Okay, so long time ago, there was a hunter, and he was always going around and always had found something good to eat, right? Ostagisti galujik. He always found something. He always returned with something good to eat. So are we good so far? Okay. Sawu iga one day iaisa. He was walking. Ji squaw ju hyo tlahi with some birds that he had shot. Is that right? Ju hyo tlahi. Ugo heno. Then he saw. Usti inad, a little snake, gone, ke, no hulti, laying on the side of the road.
Yes.
Uwo du jahi. He was pretty. he was really pretty, right? Una jai inad. He was
had a beautiful pattern to him.
There, he had a beautiful pattern, a beautiful look to him, right? Una jai, uwo duhi, una jati ale, udanti ni guste di kanti, and he looked friendly,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
He looked nice. Gano hili dohino, and then the hunter, ule stane, ule stane, he
Stopped.
ule stane, he stopped. Uktostane, he observed it, he stared at it. Uktostane, uyosiske di kanti, and he looked hungry, right? He had a hungry look about him, right? Gisquano, and then the birds, he gave the birds to him, or he laid them down. No, he gave them to.
Yeah.
He
gave it to them.
He gave the birds to him. Si, taku.
Before he went.
Before going home, right? Before he left. He luskeno, and then a little while later, and then later, noon dotaku. I always have trouble with these ones that look like
quos and
the ones that kind of look like butt cheeks. I was like, is it gu, gue, guan? What is that? So noon dotaku, na. So several several weeks later, he was walking again. That E at the front means he did it again, right? Something he'd already done before, and he's doing again. G stew, rabbits. Dekane. Carrying them, like Ju Hyo Tlahi that he had shot, He was carrying some rabbits that he had shot. I u go he. He saw again. I u go he. I not the snake. He again saw the snake. I gong ke. Again laying. So there's a lot of this E here, which I really like because it really helps us understand what that does.
E stands for.
Yeah. I ganke. He was again laying. U wo do he. U don di. U wo do pretty. U don di ni guste.
U dante. Pretty. Kind,
friendly, nice.
Yes.
Negoste.
It seemed like
he looked nice. He again was still looking nice, I guess. You know. I'll say no, but in inahi utasai, he had grown bigger, right? Or grown
longer.
Yeah. Inahi. And this word, this ina, this took me a while, and then I remembered whenever we talk about like ina God, you know, like when somebody's tall.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it must be like that. So
it's growed some way.
Yeah, it's growed. And then of course this utasa is to grow up, right? Or to because we use this word utasa sometimes to talk about where somebody grew up, where they grew up. Like Tlaiko Awatasa, I grew up in J, or you know, whatever. So this is a good word, I think, for people. Jistu no. And then the rabbits do na nele. He gave the rabbits to him. He ano. Nuese and saying this, oh shio, hey, hello, say no, and then he again went home, right? And again, this e means to do something again. Say no, and then the no here means and then or next or. You know, it's just. So see, this is a really easy story.
Yeah.
I think. So then he gave the rabbits, said hello, and then again went home. Okay, so tla ye no, gano he li do he, I u go he, I not u ton na ya ge se I. Okay, so this is the new one for us, guys. So, tle no, ga no he li do he, I u go he, I na da, u ton, na ya, ga ge se. So, tle no, and then later, is that? Ga no he li do he, the hunter. Ugohe saw
again.
Ugohe saw him again. Enod, the snake. Uton, big. Now what is this word naya gesei? Gesei I know was so he was big. But what is this naya? Naya.
I don't know what that would mean right there. That's what exactly what I was wondering. Right. Is it because it didn't make sense to me there? Because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and so in the translation, and that's the great thing about this story.
Or is it supposed to be like a rock?
Well,
but why would it be?
It's not. Oh, it's not Nagu. This should be Nagu. Nagu. I'm looking at the word here in the story, Nagu.
Then it was big.
Yeah, and it was then big.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So later, the hunter, the snake again saw he was bigger.
Uh-huh.
So, All right. So that's the story that we've been going through. It's been a great little story for us to practice our reading because, I don't know about...
a lot of different words in it.
It does, and I don't know about you, but for me, if I don't read in Cherokee for a while, I start to forget especially some of those characters like the glue and the, I have a hard time with those. Because you just don't see them that often. You don't come across them that much, and so whenever I do come across them, I'm like, what the heck is that?
Right.
So I'm trying to challenge myself to use the syllabary more so that I can become, so I can read easier. And so I'm challenging, of course, the learners as well to do the same.
And sometimes that's why we make that mistake, because a lot of times we're thinking back, we're not focusing right straight on that syllabary because we've gone away from it too long.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
So we make a mistake like that.
Definitely. But one of the things I really like is, and I don't, I've talked to you guys about when you're ready for it, it's, you'll acquire it when you're ready. And this E sound, it's in this story so much because he's kind of doing things over and over again, right? And so, and I guess I'm at the point in my learning where it made sense to me now. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So, and then it made me think of words that we use all the time, like ihedolai, right? The word hedon means you be there, right? And ihedol, to do it again, right? So
ihedolai, come back again.
Yeah, so and we translate it as come back again, to see us. So it just like went off. I was like, oh, I see.
Comes to you.
Yeah, I was like, even though I've known that word forever, since I was a kid, I never really knew what all the different sounds did. I just knew that you say that and that's what it means.
Right.
All right, so we're going to learn a little bit about Tojuwa Sikwanin. So. I'll read through here, and I'm going to rely on you to help me with my pronunciation because I'm pretty good up in the front part, but then whenever I get towards the end, there's some words in there that I struggle with.
Okay.
They're kind of tongue twisters for me. Okay. So this Hiyolegis Hia Askai Ayetli Jigadog. Do you know this man that's standing in the middle, right?
Right.
Okay. Niyolegan Redbird Smith do don't eh. If you don't know him, his name is Redbird Smith. And I've really enjoyed this kind of negation, nigoli niyolegan, I've really enjoyed this part. I was ready for that too. So right. I've enjoyed that part. So Tojuwa Sikwanid do don't Jalakikante. His name was Tojuwa Sikwanid in Cherokee. Sida Ojali Helega Hiina Julskedaskai. We still are still thankful for this important man.
One thing, you wouldn't put Jules scared. You'd put ooh, because there's only one. Yeah. Oh, if you're talking about one thing, it'd be a ooh, not a Jew.
Yeah.
Jew's more than one.
Jules scared. Yeah, Jules scared would be like a lot of
importance
things. More than one important thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Ulske. He anna Ulske daskai. Sawu ika yele ke chanesko etsku higsko he udane Tojuwa Sikwanid. So 1,850 or 1850. Udane he was born. Tojuwa Sikwanid. Redbird Smith, was born in 1850. Now, when you do your dates, do you do them this way or do you do it like 1850 like we do in Yonig? Which way do you do it?
I just try to make it sound out the number, just like, probably like that.
Yeah. I've kind of taken an informal poll with all the speakers that I know, because, really when you think about it, we don't, in everyday conversation, we don't talk about dates all that much. And so I've always been curious how people do it. And some people do it like you do, 1,850. And then some do it, like Nela do they do it like that, like we do in Yonig. So I always find it interesting. Either way
is
works.
Fine, yes.
But I really like this way for us as learners because we're learning some new vocabulary of higher numbers. So iagayel, chanel skoetsko. And now I've noticed that there are different ways that people count their hundreds. Do you do it this way, chanel skoetsko, or do you do it, say, 800 a different way?
I just go with the skohits, Tosco hits, I just go like that.
Okay.
Through that way.
Okay. So Redbird Smith was born in 1850. Kohijik guye guoni sonela du sine ojali heli gon udeti yiska. Klaskin do yoganto do udeti yiska. Okay, so today, guye guoni July, sonela du sine the 19th, July 19th, ojali heli gon. We habitually celebrate Udeti Yiska, his birthday. Klaskin, however, Klaskin no do yoganto do Udeti Yiska, we don't really know when his birthday is.
Yeah.
This is interesting, this do yoganto do Udeti Yiska. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, I don't.
It's hard for me to explain.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have that kind of explanation.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
We just said the words, the way we understood them. So it's like, "Leskino do," really.
Really, do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yoganto, no, don't know.
Yeah. Yoganto. So it just means
So could you say do you yoganto do you deti is his real birthday? Okay.
And you know how we are, we just cut everything down.
Right. Well, our words are so big and long anyway, so any chance that we have that we can make it a little shorter.
And we still know what we're talking about. That's what surprises me, because we could put a lot of words in there, but
absolutely,
it's very unusual.
It is, but that's the thing, with being a first language speaker, it makes sense to you, So
it's just how we learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Tojuwa sequanidu deti iska inulstani. Ani gitu wagi ani yawiya gatiyo anego. So Tojuwa Sequanid's birthday. Oh, Yinulstan, when it happens, when his birthday happens, the Katuwas, the Katua Indians, ani Katuwagi ani yawiya gatiyo, the ceremonial grounds anego. They go there.
That's where they go.
They
celebrate.
Okay. Gadoke Tojuwa Sinkanid Ulskejik. So why is he important, right? Is it? And would you say jik or would you say jiki?
Ulskejik jikesa.
Jikesa. Why was he important?
Tojuwa Sequanid Ulskejik jikesa.
Jikesa. Good. Tojuwa udod Pig Smith do, don't eh? His dad's name was Pig Smith.
Okay.
Sequanid Jalaki Ganti Dudoi. Young Pig was his Cherokee name. Sequa on need, right? Oni Smith ani yone do no. His last name Smith, he was called in English, right?
Yes. That's how we all got our English names.
Yeah. Se go tlana ski jage Euste. Because he was a blacksmith. He made things. Go tlana ski. And that's a word for a blacksmith, which I thought was really interesting.
Gotlanesk.
Gotlanesk. Jage Euste. So now, I had heard another word for last name, but would you do it this way? Onhitudo. I'd also heard the word Wutta.
Wutta, the end of his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Wutta just means the end.
That's it is for me. That's what I think it is.
Yeah. I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Toju Hua Uji, Lizzie Hildebrand do don't. So that was his mother.
Okay.
She was both Cherokee and Dutch or German.
Okay.
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 Jalaki uweti di stoski dalostane Lizzie udod. So Jalaki uweti in the old Cherokee place. Di stoski grinder, a miller.
Okay.
Dalostane Lizzie udod. Her dad was worked as a miller, right?
Okay.
As a grinder, right? Di stoski.
Distoski gese.
Gese. Dalostane.
Dula wistane.
Dula wista. So, and this is up to debate. Some people say that Lizzie was, German. Some people say she wasn't. Some people, but anyway, according to this Robert Thomas, who spoke with, I guess it would have been Benny Jagesos. It would have been his generation. He would have interviewed them, and this is what they told him.
Okay.
So
1953.
yeah. Ijul Jugaya Lege, both parents who were Tichalagi Nandane do know he hune. They both believed in the old Cherokee ways of doing things. Is that Nandane? Do know he hune? Is it hune or yune? Do know he yune?
Do know he yune.
Hune. Okay. Di da no whiskey ge saint udod. His dad was a medicine man.
Okay.
Di da no whiskey. Is there a literal translation for that di da no whiskey? Like
Di da no whiskey to me would be a healer.
A
like
healer.
A healer. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the word I would use for that.
Okay.
A helper, but more like a healer from medicine. Yeah.
I've always known that word, but I never, I just never really thought about it. Nu de na si toju, like when Toju was born, nu de na toju. We'll read the rest of it and we'll see if we can figure it out. Ani kayeleke, dinina whiskey, the old. The old medicine men or the old medicine people, uni no sele told Sequa need. They told Pig Smith told Juhua Didatinehi, that Tojua would be a leader. Didatine, that he would lead. Nidakalstanisa would become a leader, right?
Yes.
He would become a leader. Tloskin, Hiehest Nigalstana. However, he wouldn't
be alive.
He wouldn't be alive when this happened.
Right.
Okay. So so before he was born, Nudenus or Nudenus?
Sinudenana.
Sinudenano. Could you also say Sinudenan? Okay.
Nudenana.
Okay.
Nudenan. Yes.
Okay. Siquanid unasa agusasam tojuwa udehot. So Siquanid unasa, he asked him to do something, right? He
asked. Or he told.
It's kind of like, it's not really commanded him, but he requested of him, right? Agusasam, Creek Sam, tojuwa udehot. To teach Tojuwa. Anoji Ayawiya Gese Agusa Sam. So Creek Sam was a Nachi Indian, right? Anoji. Anoji. Which kind of begs the question, why was he called Creek Sam if he was Nachi?
I think they were close.
They were, yeah. My
the
understanding.
Notches and the Creeks are, it's almost the same to me, or that's what I know. It's what I've heard. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I have heard. My understanding is that the Natchez got absorbed. Part of them got absorbed by the Creeks, and part of them, Natchez Town, got absorbed by the Cherokees. I know, of course, the first family that comes to my mind is the Wildcats, as being part Natchez. So
that's what I've heard too.
Yeah. Nulstanen ale uweti uni no hetlen ani Anita lagi ani goose ale ani noti dot tahe agusa sam. Okay, so the nulstanen, the ways, ale uweti uni no hetlen, the old stories. The Cherokees, Anitalak, Ani Gusa, the Creeks, Ale, Ani Noji, and the Natchez, Dak Tahe, he knew them, right? Gusa Sam, so Creek Sam. So he knew the ways and old stories of the Cherokees, the Creeks, and the Natchez. Is that what you get out of that?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. Hey, pretty good. Pretty good so far. Ost adelo koski gehe Tojua, so he was a good learner, right? He was a good student. Udanto ale ton gawoniski gehe. That should be gehe. He was nice. Udanto. He was pleasant, right? Ale togawoni, and soft spoken.
Udan ale tohi togawoniski gese.
Okay. Udan ale togawonisk. Ge. Would you say gehe or gese?
Tohi gawoniski gese.
Gese. Do yukta nole jiyukta gehe. So that means he was a straight shooter, right? He was honest.
Honest and straight.
Honest and straight. Yeah. So I guess really in Cherokee they kind of almost mean the same thing, right? I mean it's the same.
Right.
And this also this duyukta. Sometimes we use that to refer to the right way to act, right? The right path.
Right. Skitan.
Sawu Yagayel Tanelsko, it's Kusonelsko, so 1890. Tojuwa Anikatuwagi Ajistanagestas Kadugi Didatini Dohigehe. So in 1890, Tojuwa was the Katuwa leader of the Ajistanagestas Illinois district.
Oh, okay.
Illinois, Ajistanagestas, that's a fish, a buffalo fish, right?
I think, I'm not sure, but yeah, that's what it sounds.
This was a hard one for me because, of course, I'm from up north, you know, and so, but I do remember Benny Jagesa talking about this word, Ajistanagestas, and that was why at their ball pole, they had that fish on top because that was their district.
Okay.
And that was the name of their, and that's why. And of course, nowadays we all have fish on top. But I remember him talking about it. He said, well, used to, different places had different things. There was he said at one there was a cow skull, and on one there was a big oak, you know how like those oak trees will get those big balls that growth on them, and that was on one, and he talked about the different ones that he remembered, but today we almost always see a fish. So Nahiyu Jagesa Talagi Neha, okay, Ayatohi Gehe. Oh, at that time, where the Cherokees lived, there were a lot of problems. Issues, problems. What is that?
I really don't know that word. Ayato. Say what? Ayatohi. Get
Ayatohi.
Ayatohi.
It's almost like there's a related word to it that's like at the edge of my brain.
Me too. I think on that.
But I can't quite. But maybe we'll think of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come to us. Yeah. Une gujit nanda neha. So that's I love this sentence. Une gujit nanda neha is like what mean people do, right? But that's outlawry, which even in English is a funny word, So like what bandits do, what criminals do, right?
A lot of mean people.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of meanness.
Yeah, at that time. So, I don't know why. That just, for some reason, that just tickles me. So, Chalaki ayetli ude gale hyo gesa. Cherokee.
Scattered.
Yeah, they were like, they were
everywhere.
Scattered. In
the Cherokee Nation, they were scattered.
They were scattered around, weren't they? That's almost like like when it makes me think of like when you're throwing seeds out in the garden, right? That's what it makes me think of. How about you?
Yeah, just like it was just scattered. Things were scattered everywhere. People were scattered.
Now, can you also use this I'm thinking of like when kids leave their toys all out. Can you use this word for that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a form of that word.
Same. Okay. Can you say that again? She's like, no.
No. I can't. It was already gone.
Unil Gale something.
It was everywhere. Uni. So one no.
Isn't that weird how our brains work? It's like when you're not thinking about it, it just comes out. And it's like, okay, say it again. You're like,
Not talking
nope.
enough and getting old.
I hear you.
Unilgayenika. It was unilgayen.
Unilgayen. Nika, everywhere.
Their toys are everywhere.
Don Cleha, Lena, this is the one that gets me. Don Cleha, Lena, they started fighting. Dalena, Da Cleka. Unadalka, the Unadalka, the different groups started to fight.
Okay. Dana, Lihe, Unalena, Unadalka. Yeah. Dana, Unlena, Dana, Lihe.
They started fighting.
Each other.
Yeah. Undalena, Undalka. Different groups. This sentence gets me all the time because it's got the same sounds all in there. Yeah. Yeah. Which is weird because in English it's not, but in Cherokee those words are all very close.
Tongue-tied.
Yeah.
Tongue-tied twisters.
Squeezed. There was a lot of white folks, right?
Still is.
Yeah. They didn't have permission, right, to be there. Unelagi, Elisa.
Elisa, Yigesa.
Yeah, how do you like?
Una skoltana.
Una skoltana.
Yigesa.
Yigesa. They didn't.
Wasn't permitted. They wasn't permitted to be there.
Yeah. So okay, yeah.
Una skoltana Yigesa.
Una skoltani. Yeah. Didn't
have permission.
Yes. Ani yoneg du dotlansa udu lehe ahya tasti anita lagi aneha. Okay, so the whites, the white government do dotlansa, the white government, right? Udu lehe, they wanted, or it wanted ahya tasti, to cut or to half or to separate. They wanted to divide.
Jungaland, to divide.
The Cherokee land,
yeah.
they wanted to, or where the Cherokees were, they wanted to split it up, right?
Jungaland, yeah, yep.
And what word did you use instead of ahyataste?
Jungaland.
Oh, yeah. Jungaland tote.
Jungaland tote. To divide.
To divide. Yeah. So we're just about out of time for today, but thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy visiting with you about our language and visiting with you just in general.
Yes.
So when we come back next time, we're going to continue on with the story, and we'll talk a little bit more about the language, because it's really invaluable to have a first language speaker with us to be able to give us a little bit deeper understanding of what's going on. What don't I really appreciate it.